Hello and welcome to DRN1 live radio station for the Tracey Lee Cook Health and Wellness Show, Australia's #1 indie radio station, coming to you from Perth, Western Australia. Download our DRN1 app for all your indie music, special guests, competitions, podcasts and show links, soon available on Apple TV. We would love to hear some feedback, so make sure that you subscribe, like and comment so we can do more of what you ask. Now, in today's show, we have a very special guest. Her name is Nancy Swerts, all the way from Belgium, and we would like to really welcome her to the DRN1 family. So a very big welcome today, Nancy.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, thank you. So nice to be here.
Oh, fantastic. Now, I want you to tell your journey and your story, because I know you've got a lot of value to drop to our audience today. And I'm just going to have a brief overview of who you are and what you're doing. And it goes much deeper than that. And I'm going to let you tell your story, Nancy, because you tell it better than anybody else. And there's a background of divorced parents. I believe your brother died in a narcissistic relationship. There was a lot of burnout as well, and a lot of anxiety and grief and anger, and you've also got a lot of programs that you're continuing with, which I would absolutely love you to share with our audience, because I know that the light bulbs will go off when they hear all these things. And a lot of it is the warm and fuzzy feelings that you're going to get from Nancy's story as well. So I am going to hand the mic over to Nancy. That is just a brief skim. I want her to go on a deep dive with our DRN1 family and let us know, who is Nancy, what is your journey, and what kind of programs are you running at the moment, to help others?
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Well, I'm Nancy Swerts. I live in Belgium, in Europe. I'm happily married with Peter, and he's the father of my two sons, Tim, who's 17, and Jan, 16. And we have a little dog, Boomer, as well. So, well, my journey starts in my childhood, because my parents weren't too happy together. There was a lot of fighting and arguing, so that wasn't nice. And early on, I learned to go into a different world. So to fall asleep, I always imagined a beautiful house with no money problems, where there would be parents who loved each other. Who just so I always went in this little dream home where I felt good. And during that period, I always put on my happy mask. So going out, I wasn't happy, but I knew being happy for other people, just gave them a good feeling, and I didn't want to show how I felt inside. And this has been for the rest of my life, that I wasn't feeling good inside, but I put on a happy face, and then that was the way I coped with it. And so later on, my parents got divorced. I was very happy. I chose to stay with my father, and I didn't talk to my biological mother for 30 years. Now we're good, so it's okay now. And then we got together with a new bonus mom, I would say. Otherwise, it was stepmom, but it's not a nice word.
I like that, bonus mom. That's
bonus
a great,
mom and a bonus
word, yes.
brother. And we got happily together and in a one rented house. And 6 months later, unfortunately, my biological brother, who was 4 years older than me, he died in the bathroom due to CO poisoning. Do you call it like that? It was an old boiler, and he unfortunately wanted to take a shower, and he died in there. So that was really, really tough.
That's very hard. Yeah, sorry for your loss. Yeah, it's a very hard thing to lose a family member.
Yes. And I was so young. I was 15 at the time. And I always felt guilty as well, because the day I came to the door, I rang, I had my key, and that was the moment when he was in the bathroom. So I always thought if I had entered, maybe I would have saved him. But afterwards, I know it was impossible, but okay. So then there was a really a great period in my life where at 17, suddenly there was this idea in my head, it's going to be over with me as well when I will be 19. So I started to live really fearless. Now I know that it was fearless. But at that time, I was working all weekends. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. I didn't believe in marriage. I didn't want children. I just wanted to travel and, yeah, have learn languages, meet people, just see what is there out there. And it was so wonderful because I said yes to every opportunity. Everything that was coming my way. Now I know it's the law of attraction and everything, but not at that time. Everything came and everything just went great. I worked very hard. I studied hard as well. I studied languages in Spanish course in the evening, and really my life was wonderful. There was still this grief and unhappy feeling, but I knew that well, it will be soon over for me as well. So I really want to get everything out of this life, and so that was a magical moment. And then I graduated and I went to college, I think you call it. When you are 18, you go to
Yep.
the next level. There I went to the French part. In Belgium, you have two parts, the Dutch speaking part and the French speaking part. And I went to the French speaking part to go to school there. So I did everything in French. And there I took as well Spanish as fourth language. And in this class, there was a Mexican girl. And we really got acquainted very well. And we traveled together to London, to Paris, Euro Disney, all these things. It was really a fun time. And after that school year, her parents came to get her and they invited me to go for 1 year to Mexico, to Monterrey. And so I worked the whole month of July and August in 3 different restaurants to earn the money myself because we were 3 at home. My parents, I didn't want them to pay it, so I wanted to afford everything myself. And in September, I hit off all alone at the age of 19 to Mexico. Again, this was a wonderful time. And but after 3 months, I had to come back because my father had a heart attack, and I had to come back earlier. And so I thought, okay, I still have time left to make 1 year of adventure. So I started working, and I thought I'm gonna go to the USA or another country. But the work where I started was a nice company, and I stayed there for 23 years.
Oh, wow. That's a long time. You don't hear much of that anymore, do you? That is a long time for
So,
sure.
but it was a wonderful time as well because it was a wonderful company. And as I was in sales, we get to travel a lot. We visited Morocco, all these beautiful countries. So it was a wonderful time as well. Pretty hard as well because it was sales and I was at the beginning the only woman. But it was a wonderful time. So I'm so grateful for that opportunity as well.
Fantastic.
And then when I go back to just before going to Mexico, I ran into a boyfriend. And when I came back to Mexico, he was glad, of course, that I came back earlier. But that relationship that really changed my life because he was very narcissistic and he even borrowed cars from his friends to follow me whenever we had a meeting or dinner with the office. And I'm a very free, independent woman, girl at the time. So I would never cheat on anyone. I never cheated on a boyfriend. But he was really, really jealous. And in the almost 4 years that I stayed with him, I gained 44 kilos. And
Wow.
yeah, I was very, very unhappy. I lost all my friends and contacts because, yeah, that's the world gets so tight, tiny, and you always think, always arguing. And in my childhood, I saw that as for my parents, so I didn't want these fights. So I always stayed until it was okay, but it wasn't okay, and it never got okay. So finally, I could get out of that. I almost married him. And the beautiful part is that there was just one guy I got in. I could keep contact with, and it was my very very best friend, Peter. And he wasn't jealous at him because he knew it was my body, and he didn't have to be jealous because it was like my very best girlfriend where you talk on the phone for hours. That was Peter for many years since I was 17. And that was the only one that I could talk to and keep in touch with. And the day that I was planning to get married with the narcissistic one, I got this dream, a vision, where I was in the church sitting with my dress, and I looked behind, and there was Peter, my best friend, and he nodded no. So I woke up that morning. I said, "I'm not going to marry him." So finally, after 3 months,
A bit of
after
divine intervention, or
yes,
something, the
absolutely,
law of attraction or something has really come to you in your dreams,
yes,
and just clarified
absolutely.
everything for you, Nancy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm so grateful for that dream or whatever it was, but it really was a sign, and it was so clear that I said, "No, I can't do this. I'm not going to marry him." And so after 3 months after, I got the strength to say, I'm stopping this relationship. Finally, it took me 1.5 years to have the courage, and then he said, "Well, fine, at least one thing." Um, I got, and that is to take away your beauty because I gained 44 kilos, and so yeah, I really had to. I was so deep at that moment, and well, unfortunately, that my best friend, my body, afterwards, after some months, became my husband now, the love of my life.
It's
There was always
amazing
this.
how much the kind of divine intervention, whatever we like to call it, it just creates so much
Yeah,
clarity, or a new
yeah,
road, or I like to call it a sliding door moment,
yeah, yeah,
where if you
absolutely.
go this way, this could have happened, but if you go that way, then
Yeah,
the world's your oyster. So
yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah, that's fantastic. So tell me about your weight journey, if you don't mind, Nancy, putting you
Yeah,
on the
of
spot
course.
a little bit there. So
Hmm.
you've put on a lot of weight, you're not feeling so good about yourself. What steps did you take from there?
Well, as a child, I was a little bigger. They called me at school fat or big or whatever. Then, when the new period came with my bonus mom, she's a very very beautiful lady. So I got really into sports and drinking water, and then I really got very thin until I got 19 till that boyfriend. And afterwards, with Peter, as there was always this special chemistry between him and me, but I always thought, I don't believe in marriage and kids and all these things because of everything I saw at home. Um, so I thought, no, he's my buddy. I can't start with him because I don't want to hurt him. But finally, we got together, and he is, I think, the only person in the world who takes me the way I am. And
Hmm.
so we went very short. After 9 months, we started to live together. And well, I started to cook myself. And my great grandmother taught me how to cook because I stayed with her for 2 years. And I made all her recipes, but it's very creamy and everything. So I kept on gaining that weight. Also because I felt so, my self-esteem was zero, was lower than zero after that relationship. So I just gained and gained more kilos.
It's amazing
And
how our feelings are attached to our weight or our
abs-
physical being, isn't it? It's a
absolutely.
that's
And
a
then
double healing in progress.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then at the work, I had one boss. We had an argue about bonuses and everything. And one moment, he looked at me and I said, "No, I'm a salesperson." He wanted me to give me another job. I said, "No, I'm a saleswoman." And he looked at me really from top to bottom with this face of disgust. And he said, "You, a saleswoman? If I am a buyer and I see someone like you enter the room, I would never buy from you. And that was another.
Isn't that horrible? That's
Yeah, that was
nasty.
horrible.
That's
And
nasty.
yeah, and then I really got so my self-esteem, and I didn't dare to go to directors or male buyers because I thought that's the way they look at me. But most of the people say still now I'm overweight, and they say no, we don't see your weight, we just see your personality. But still, they're on they. And so I got my two children in 2003 and 2004. So that's 11 months in between them. And then I gained a lot as well. And I couldn't get them off. And I really I had everything in my life to be happy, a good job, a wonderful husband, two children. But I still got deeper and deeper, more unhappy because all of the things of the past, I never got to heal it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it went deeper and deeper. And I got to almost 150 kilos.
Oh,
And then,
wow.
yes, yes. And I got diabetes and lots of things that weren't okay. Had health issues as well. And so I was constantly sick. And for the job, it wasn't good as well. And then finally, there was a friend of mine who wanted to have a bypass. And so we did it together. So she and her, we did it together. And well, I lost 35 kilos.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes,
So how did you
at
lose
the
all of
beginning.
that?
Well, I did a bypass,
You've
a
done the
surgery.
bypass. Oh,
Yeah, I did the
wow.
bypass.
So is
The
that like a
8.
gastric sleeve? Is that
Yes,
what they
it's
call it? Okay.
yes, it's yeah, it's a gastric bypass day. Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then so I went down 35 kilos. I did a surgery in 2013, the 8th of May, and I went down till in the end of August, 35 kilos. And then it
Wow.
started, so it was the way it had to go. And
Yeah.
afterwards, at Christmas, I thought, but I'm not losing anymore. But I kept journaling the weight loss and everything, and I thought, what happened in August? Because I'm still at the same level, going up and just 1 kilo, and so there was something. And I started working. I'm working on self growth for 15 years, and I knew that it was something emotional. And then I got back in my agenda, and on August 2013, it was the first time that I got in contact again with my biological mother. And when I got back in her life, it was just a little bit. And then she lost 35 kilos. So
Yep.
it were she was happy that it was back in her life. And I got stuck there because a lot of things happened in the past. And ever since, I'm still yo-yoing. And after, well, then I got a huge burnout. And it's there that I learned to accept myself just the way I am. And I learned to forgive myself, forgive all the people, and now it's okay. My health is much better because mentally I'm better as well. And I know
Yeah.
that one, um, my husband, my children, they like me the way I am, and so I'm stopping the struggle to wanting to lose weight to be better for other people. So the
Mm-hmm.
day that it will be it will they will get off the day that it will have to be like that. So I don't know
It's
if it
so
sounds
amazing how our emotions are tied to our physical being. And once we
absolutely.
actually start that emotional healing journey, we
Mm-hmm.
can actually see, better sleep or better health or weight loss or mental clarity.
Yeah,
It's just amazing how they're both so linked.
yeah, yeah. And the strange thing is, because of all the things I did the last year, so I had my burnout in 2004, the 1st of December 2014. I came from Brussels and I was riding in my car, and suddenly I woke up at 140 kilometers an hour at this bit of a little wall at the highway. And that was the beginning of my burnout. So I had to stay 13 months at home. And well, the weight just at that moment as well played such an immense role because It was only the way the people saw me, and I thought that everyone saw me like that one boss told me. But in fact, it's not that. It's who you are on the inside
Yeah.
that counts, and that's what I really learned afterwards. And during this journaling and therapy and everything I went through, the real question: why is there something holding me back from losing weight? Because I know all the diets and all the things. Even a gastric bypass can't help me lose the way it has to. And there's just one thing that pops up every time. That is a certain afraid of having, again, it sounds strange, of having too much success with men. Because in the period from my 17 to my 19, when I was very, now I see that I was beautiful. I didn't feel beautiful, but I was very thin and everything. There were constantly boys wanting to date me, and they went very far. And the relationship with the narcissistic one, his best friends made beddings. Who could have me? So that there was fear around that, that if I would be thin again or slim, that will start again. I'm so happy with my husband that I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main issue that's keeping me. It can be like an how do you
Like a
call it?
block.
It's an excuse for people who hear this, but for me it's a little it's comfortable. If I hear girlfriends talking, this man, he's touching me, or he's wanting to date me, then I'm there. Oh, I'm lucky I don't have that problem, and I really mean it, because I'm so happy with my husband, and I don't want all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So now I let it
Definitely.
go. It's just the way I am, and if people don't like me with those kilos, well, okay, they can just talk to someone else. So I really let go of the what people think about me, because the more you do that, the more you stay unhappy.
Yeah.
That's
So you're embracing the skin you're in, you're
yeah,
embracing who you are, you're known
absolutely.
for your personality. And when you're at peace with yourself and your emotions are aligned, then you have this inner peace and just pure happiness, basically.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Fantastic.
I teach people to love themselves just the way they are, and that's the most important part. And it's a struggle. It was a struggle for me as well for years. And now every woman I work with, or even children, and that's as well a big pity that young girls feel so bad in their own skin.
Yeah.
And it's the
And
big
all of the influence from media and things like that,
absolutely.
magazines, I think we do see um, a big shift happening in the last couple of years where people are embracing their own skin, and it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to do that because we know that media has just been such a toxic influence over body shaming and labeling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really refreshing to see people like you, Nancy, step forward and say, hey, it's okay to embrace who you are, and it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to be, in your own skin. So that's really refreshing, and I really appreciate you sharing this really important message. And there's a lot of health and wellness around that message as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't mind, if we just kind of touch on your miracle, um, uh, I'll let you explain it. You explain it much better, that we were talking before the show. Tell us about these miracle cards and how it came about.
Yes.
I'd
So
love to
just
hear about it.
yes. So this is the card that really changed my life. Just 4 months, a few months before my burnout, I saw a little video from a man who showed these cards, and he said, "Everywhere I go, I give this card to the people."
And
And
I'll just explain, it's a business card, and all it's
yes,
got written on there is expect a miracle. That's all it
yes,
is.
and
It's just a
that's all it
blank
is.
white business card with expect a miracle written on it.
Yes, absolutely. So I saw the man holding it in front of the camera, and he said, "Everywhere I go, I give this card to people, and it changes lives." And he told one story about how he was at 2 o'clock in the morning on Los Angeles airport, And there was just one restaurant open. It was a Mexican restaurant. And he saw that the lady, the cashier, was so unhappy. And he said, here you go. Expect your life to be better. It will be better. It's a card that will bring you luck. And she was, oh, senor, senor, thank you. She went to the kitchen. The three cooks came out and said, oh, can I have this card as well? So suddenly there was an energy, a positive energy. And behind him was a man standing in a nice suit. And he said, excuse me, sir, what are you doing to make these people so happy? He said, here, expect a miracle. I give these cards. The two men ate together and they went home. 2 days later, the man of the card received an email from the businessman saying, thank you for saving my life. I was on my way home to commit suicide because his wife left him after 40 years marriage. And in the plane, he thought, what an idiot. I'm going to commit suicide for a woman. There are lots of women. And the year after, he got happily married again. So I saw this. I said, wow, I want to meet this man. I want to have his card. But then I thought, who knows where he is, somewhere in America. And I just made my own card. And every day I would give it a kiss and I would ask for another boss, all these little things. And then it just happened. I got my burnout, which was a very difficult period. I'm not saying that the burnout is great, but it taught me a lot. And after these 13 months, I got my C4, so I got fired. And at the moment, it was when they told me, I knew this is the moment. I'm going to change my life. And so I started my own business, my coaching business, because during my 13 months of burnout at home, I studied a lot and I learned a lot about self-growth, which really interested me. And I really wanted to help people. I always help people, but just like that. And now I really wanted to make my own business of it. And so this card, I gave it to everyone. And everywhere I go, in a hotel, I put it on my bed with a little thank you note. And last year, I thought, who is the man I saw on that video? So I started Googling and I found him. And he's Australian.
Fantastic. Aussies are everywhere, Nancy.
Yes, absolutely. And so I just thought, okay, I'm going to, he's John Hinwood was his name, and I'm just gonna write him an email. So I wrote him a long email with my how I discovered and that the cards I give them in schools as well when I go to with a workshop, and always the children afterwards, can I have a card for my mom, for my dad, for my grandmother? So I just put it in that email, and the day after he replied to me, and then we scheduled the meeting, and he and his lovely wife Judy. They contacted me and we spoke for 3 hours on a Skype call. And it really was like if we had known each other for years. And then normally they were going to come to Belgium to give here some courses, but unfortunately with the pandemic, it wasn't possible. And so he asked me he said, it's wonderful that you continue my work. It's free. It's a free card. It's for everyone available. So everyone in the show can have. We'll put the link on it so that they can print their own cards if you want.
Fantastic.
And then he gave me his. So it's the official template of John Hinwood himself, and he really wanted to spread it all over the world. And unfortunately, he left this earth October this year, but we got in contact during the whole year, and he is so glad that on the other side of the world I continued his work, and lots of people are doing it all around the world. So this is our New Year's gift to your audience.
Fantastic. Yes, we'll definitely be handing a lot of the Expect a Miracle cards out. They're a downloadable template, and I think, Nancy, just the ripple effect, the creative goodness that we can spread just by giving someone a helping hand up instead of a push down, a kind word, a nice gesture, let them know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that is so in tune with mental health, especially coming off the tail end of 2020 when so many people are possibly suicidal, anxious, depressed, going through financial rough times. So for a stranger just to do a random act of kindness and hand them a card that says expect a miracle, something as
Yes.
simple as that just might
Yeah.
change their way of thinking, like in that restaurant that you just explained that night.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
just the kindness and gestures of others is really valuable for mental health
Mm-hmm.
in the world now. So I really appreciate you gifting that to our audience today, Nancy, because your journey is absolutely amazing. You're doing some fantastic work with your coaching and your programs and your workshops. You've come a long way. You've got so much knowledge and value and expertise in the various fields and things like that. And I really hope that the world opens up so you can do some more travel as well. Now, what kind of message would you like to leave the DRN1 audience on today?
Well, the biggest message is love yourself just the way you are and start today. Don't postpone it until you lose weight or whatever. Because if you don't think about yourself that you are lovable, that you are good enough and everything, why should anyone else love you and like you if you don't love and like yourself? So that's my main yes message. Just love yourself and learn to love yourself. And for that, now in Belgium, I started the whole month of December a Spiegel challenge. So this is a mirror challenge, and I'm translating it into English now. So everyone is free to join it from the 1st of January to the whole month of January. It's a Facebook group called Mirror Challenge. We're creating it at the moment. And every day I post a live video and one sentence that you can say in front of the mirror. So to learn to love yourself even more, despite everything that's in your backpack. And the thing that I'm putting out in the world is I created. Can I just tell the miracle box as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So I created everything around me is called miracle. So here in Belgium already, because lots of people got their own miracles, my nickname became the Miracle Lady. And
What a great nickname.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so because yeah, just by talking to people and working with them, you can really transform their lives. And so I created this miracle box. It's an interactive program on personal growth. And I pre-COVID, I went to schools with it, and really in the classroom, I learned the children to in an interactive way. So we play games, and it's about bullying, it's about the mental health, it's about their feeling, their self worth, how they are respected, and how they have to respect other ones. And it's due to playing these little games that the teacher as well sees who who has some kind of trouble. We're not going into the private things of their family, but you see the kids are so open, and while playing, the bullier sees what he is doing to the other kids, and the kid who is bullied in the exercise, playing around, can say how he is hurt, or he is hurt because of the bullying. And
Mm.
then they say sorry to each other. There's gratitude in it. All the things we learn in our self growth journey, I put it in there, but in a playful way. And so it's really after leaving these schools, teachers say, "Wow, this was amazing," and the children really take something. And then EFT as well. I learned in the tapping, so EFT,
Yes.
which is very powerful as well, to lower your stress, to concentrate better, all these things. And why do I go to children? Because I want to be and teenagers. So and now I'm pivoting everything online due to circumstances, and I really want to focus more on teenagers and young adults as well, because due to the circumstances, those are the best years. I told you between 17, 19, those were my golden years,
Mm.
and children now, well, the teenagers, they can't go out. They can't have their first prom, their ball, their first time of drinking, first boyfriend, and all these things because they're at home in lots of places, and it's very hard for them. And I know of lots of teenagers, girls particularly, who start cutting themselves, who feel suicidal and all these things. So with my miracle box, I'm pivoting it now to give it online, so that they can start early on. I had to wait for my burnout at 40 years so to really dive into this personal growth. So if all together we can make a change already in the young lives of teenagers and even beyond, that will be a major change, I think, for the next generation, because the youth is our future. So,
Definitely. You've definitely earned the nickname, the Miracle Lady, Nancy, because you're changing lives. It's so necessary on the tail end of 2020 with the Miracle in a Box, the Expect a Miracle cards, and just the availability online. And I love the idea of the mirror challenge as well. So if people want to be able to tap into your Facebook group, we will share out the link to that. And
okay.
yeah, I think they're really valuable tools, techniques, skills, and resources that we really need to get the word out around mental health. And that's the biggest umbrella ever with suicide and anxiety and depression and mental health. And it's just helping so many people. So a lot of people unaware of these resources. So it shows like this that bring awareness to those kind of resources out there for especially young children and teenagers as well, because these are the life-defining moments that they will carry with them through into adulthood. So having those resources and just for them to know that somebody cares about them, or to have a different tool to use, because they are online, so it's really easily accessible. So you've definitely been given the nickname Miracle Lady for a reason, Nancy. And you're definitely making the world a better place for sure. And I really appreciate you here today at DRN1, all the way from Belgium. And isn't it great that we can connect in different parts of the globe and still get resources and spread the ripple effect of hope and belief, and just being a nice human and just helping each other. It's absolutely so wonderful. And I'm very grateful to have you on our show here today. Thank you so much. Your journey is absolutely incredible. And thank you for adding so much value to our DRN One Life audience here today, and by sharing all of the valuable information and insights. And if you have enjoyed today's topic and our special guest, Nancy Swerts, who I'm just going to call the Miracle Lady from now on, and you want to see more, and we may even do a part 2 with Nancy, because I'd love to hear more about the ERT. I'm very interested in that, and that really does absorb the health and wellness show here as well. So make sure that you download the DRN1 app, subscribe, share, and give us some feedback, so we can give you more of what you actually ask for. We want you to have an awesome day. Until next week's show, we have another special guest. Thank you once again to our Belgium Miracle Lady, Nancy Swerts. She is absolutely fabulous. And remember, figure out who you are. Do it on purpose. It is goodbye from the Tracey Lee Cook Health and Wellness Show, DRN One Life Radio, your #1 indie station in Australia. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.